state government, and every large city and burg in this country. Those behind it are powerful, well-funded, well-placed, and well-organized. No matter how crazy their plan, they are succeeding in building support with the American people. And here's how. Your community is now a sustainable community. I don't think anyone has any doubt about that. But have you heard your officials talking about how to curtail growth and block development? Are they talking about historic preservation? Is your downtown now called a historic district? Are they talking about how to control business development? Has the subject of public transportation come up? Is it getting more and more difficult to enjoy driving your car around town? Here's the definition of a sustainable community from the President's Council on Sustainable Development report. Quote, "Sustainable communities encourage people to work together to create healthy communities where natural resources and historic resources are preserved, jobs are available, sprawl is contained, neighborhoods are secure, education is lifelong, transportation and health care are accessible, and all citizens have opportunities to improve the quality of their lives." If only the Founding Fathers had thought of that. So now let's break it all down. How do you actually achieve these goals? Again, see if some of these things don't sound familiar. How do the people work together? We need some sort of committee or council to join. One that will set a vision for the city. We need all of the leaders, from elected officials to educators to business leaders to the local chamber of commerce to the local news media. They will put a plan together for the future development of the community. And by the way, the plan isn't really written by this committee. The blueprint comes out of Washington, D.C., backed with federal grants for anybody who will comply. Now, to see that the committee can really achieve its goals, it needs to have some teeth. We need a partnership between the committee and government. A plan will be drawn up, and it will be the guideline for laws and regulations. Now, to give our plan the appearance that it is legitimately accepted by the community, we will hold some series of public meetings and give it a general overview of what we want to do, and all we want to do is make the community a better place. Of course, no votes will be taken. There will be no debates. Dissenters must be silenced. That would be divisive to our good works. It's important that we hire a professionally trained facilitator who will guide our citizens to the proper outcome. A community consensus is important to our plan. So what kind of important decisions will be in that plan for the good of us all? The key to the plan is smart growth. So the committee must control the use of all private property. It must decide what is historic and must be preserved. It must set boundaries beyond which no new homes may be built. It must decide how the community should look, where our open space should be, where businesses could be allowed to operate. Farmers must be stopped from selling their land to developers, even if our economic policies make it impossible to earn a living on the farm. We'll just take taxpayer dollars and give it to the farmers to buy out their development rights. It's commonly known as a PDR. That way, the land will forever be controlled by the government. Now, cars are a very nasty habit. We must teach our community that everyone should be more open to public transportation. We must build light rail trains and bus lines to get us around to our jobs. And to make it convenient for everyone, we'll design housing developments around the rail and bus lines so that they are within walking distance for everyone. We'll surround the community with bike paths and high-density real estate policies that restrict development. We'll narrow streets and refrain from building unnecessary roads. In fact, eventually, our plan calls for eliminating cars from the community, and that will relieve overcrowded streets. Cars will be banned. Our homes can be designed in high and low-rise buildings with office space on top floors and stores on the main floor, with our apartments sandwiched in between. We'll never have to leave the building during our daily routine. So we don't need yards that have to be mowed with smelly, gas-guzzling, air-polluting, noise-polluting mowers. We'll just provide parks and other open green space for the people to find recreation. And of course, with our low and high-rise public housing, single-family homes that waste precious land won't be necessary. Suburban housing will be banned. We'll strictly control the use and development of utilities like power and natural resources like water. Now, you know, people who live in the desert and far-off lands have water shortages, so to be fair, we must force our citizens to strictly restrict their water usage. Now, 10 gallons a day, according to the Sierra Club, 10 gallons a day per person seems about right. The committee will actively seek to bring in business to the community to provide jobs for our community, but we only want certain businesses here. We won't accept those who lack the proper environmental attitudes. They will either comply or be banned from operating in our town. And if we don't have enough jobs after all that banning, we'll tax the businesses that are there to raise the necessary funds to help those who don't have a job, because social equity is key to our committee's plan. Now, people must have homes and medical care and food. It's their right, you understand. It's the duty of those who have money to help those who don't, especially the businesses which are so rich. Now, all of these guidelines were very carefully laid out at the United Nations Habitat II Conference in 1996. Communities like Baltimore, Maryland won awards for implementing these policies, so we can follow the same thing. But we must do more. The vision can't become reality unless the people in the community have the proper respect for the plan. They must have the right attitudes, values, and beliefs in order to support what the good folks in the committee are trying to do for the common good of us all. One place to start is in the schools. Here are our future generations. It's not as important that they can read and write and perform math problems as it is that they understand the importance of living together with your neighbors in a happy, prosperous, safe, well-organized community. They can learn the basic academics on their own, but it's vital that they understand our goals. So let's add some classes to help them obtain the proper outlook for the future. Teach them that they must work together rather than selfishly setting personal goals. Teach them that our community only needs certain kinds of workers to help the program along. Help them select career paths that fit the needs of the community. Help them understand that personal wants and dreams and ambitions are selfish and will only hurt everyone else's future. Now, how can we best teach them these things? Well, businesses know how to organize things like this. Let's form a partnership with business to help the children learn how to work right there in the school. In fact, we can even let each child take half a day of school off and go to work on the job as a volunteer. And to make sure that everyone participates, we'll make it part of their grade. And to make sure that they always keep the valuable lessons and don't stray from the special teachings they learned in the school-to-work partnership, let's keep their education going for life. We'll require that they come back for refresher courses periodically throughout their lives. To protect our sustainable community, we've got to make sure everyone maintains the proper attitudes, values, and beliefs. To make sure that they do attend the lifelong learning classes, we'll use that partnership with business as an on-the-job incentive. That way, lifelong learning can lead to better jobs and better pay. It's also very organized. And for the adults, there can be public visioning classes for them too. After all, we can't fully organize the community around our grand idea if there is resistance from some of the people. That will spoil all of our great plans for the health and security of our community. So again, with our business partnerships and with the help of the Chamber of Commerce and the schools, we'll work with the folks on a neighborhood basis. The United Nations has a program we can use as our guide. Chattanooga, Tennessee did it. So can we. Neighborhood by neighborhood. We'll bring the folks in, teach them how important it is to protect the environment and how evil sprawl can be to our well-laid plans. And once we have helped them obtain the proper attitudes, values, and beliefs,